Ladies and gentlemen, last night, a somber shadow fell over Washington, D.C., and the global community as two Israeli embassy staff members were tragically gunned down outside the Capitol Jewish Museum. It was shortly after 9 p.m. when emergency calls flooded into the Metropolitan Police Department. Officers rushed to the scene, only to find a young man and woman lying motionless, unresponsive, and critically wounded. Despite the rapid response by D.C. Fire and EMS, all life-saving efforts proved in vain. Both victims succumbed to their injuries on the very steps of an institution dedicated to the preservation and celebration of Jewish history and culture. Preliminary investigations have revealed that the couple had just exited an event at the museum when they were ambushed. Authorities believe the assailant acted alone. Identified as Elias Rodriguez, a 30-year-old from Chicago, the suspect had been seen loitering outside the museum, pacing anxiously. Then, in a moment of horrifying clarity, Rodriguez approached a group of four and opened fire. The bullets found their mark in two innocent lives, a young couple who, as Israeli Ambassador Yechiel Leiter painfully shared, were on the cusp of engagement. The young man had just purchased a ring, with plans to propose next week in Jerusalem. What was meant to be a chapter of joy and love turned instead into a tale of unimaginable loss and sorrow. Following the shooting, Rodriguez entered the museum itself, where he was quickly subdued and detained by security personnel. As he was taken into custody, he shouted, "Free, free Palestine," making his motivations clearer and raising urgent questions about the intersection of political rage and violent extremism. Mayor Muriel Bowser spoke at a press conference soon after, her voice resolute. "We will not tolerate this violence or hate in our city," she declared. "We will not tolerate any acts of terrorism, and we're going to stand together as a community in the coming days and weeks to send a clear message that we will not tolerate antisemitism." Police Chief Pamela Smith confirmed that there had been no prior intelligence indicating a potential act of terror or hate crime in the area. Still, the nature of the attack, the identity of the victims, and the chilling words uttered by the suspect suggest a targeted, ideological act. The FBI's Washington field office was quick to join the investigation, standing alongside the Metropolitan Police Department. Both agencies stressed that there is no ongoing threat to public safety at this time. The Capitol Jewish Museum, a cornerstone of cultural remembrance, was meant to be a place of reflection and learning. Instead, it has now become the scene of a horrific crime. Tal Naim Cohen, spokesperson for the Israeli embassy, confirmed that the victims were shot at close range, adding that they were in attendance at a Jewish event meant to uplift and educate. "We have full faith in law enforcement authorities on both the local and federal levels to apprehend the shooter and protect Israel's representatives and Jewish communities throughout the United States," Cohen said. As news of the tragedy spread, tributes and reactions poured in. President Isaac Herzog of Israel issued a heartfelt message, condemning the act as a despicable expression of antisemitism. "Our hearts are with the loved ones of those murdered," Herzog said. "I send my full support to the ambassador and all the embassy staff." Former U.S. President Donald Trump also weighed in, describing the killings as acts of antisemitism and calling for an immediate end to such hatred and radicalism. "These horrible D.C. killings, based obviously on antisemitism, must end, now," Trump wrote on Truth Social. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem confirmed that federal authorities are actively investigating the incident. Two Israeli embassy staff were senselessly killed tonight near the Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C., she said. "Please pray for the families of the victims. We will bring this depraved perpetrator to justice." Danny Danon, Israeli ambassador to the United Nations, also condemned the violence, calling it an unforgivable breach. "Harming diplomats and the Jewish community is crossing a red line," Danon stated. "We are confident that the U.S. authorities will take strong action against those responsible for this criminal act." The Jewish Federation of Greater Washington, like many across the Jewish community, expressed heartbreak and solidarity. "We mourn the loss of the two individuals killed in the attack," the organization said in a statement. "Our hearts are with their families and loved ones, and with all of those who are impacted by this tragic act of anti-Semitic violence. This attack did not occur in a vacuum. It arrives at a moment of heightened tensions, both globally and domestically. Israel's ongoing conflict with Hamas, the devastation in Gaza, and polarizing discourse worldwide have created a volatile environment in which words of hatred too easily turn into acts of violence. More than 53,000 lives have been claimed in Gaza according to local health authorities, and nearly the entire population has been displaced. Yet amidst all the pain, all the tragedy, we must remember that diplomatic staff, wherever they may be posted, are emissaries of peace and dialogue. They are not combatants, they are messengers, builders of bridges. To target them is to reject the very idea of civilized discourse. Let us be clear, no cause, no grievance, no ideology can justify the cold-blooded murder of innocent lives. The violence we witnessed last night is not protest. It is not resistance. It is not justice. It is murder, plain and simple, and it must be condemned with the full force of our collective voice. Today, as we reckon with this devastating loss, let us also reaffirm our values. Let us stand shoulder to shoulder against antisemitism, against political violence, against terror in all its forms. Let us hold fast to the principles that define us: tolerance, justice, and the sanctity of life. To the families of the victims, may your loved ones be remembered not just for how they died, but for how they lived, with promise, with passion, and with purpose. May their memory be a blessing. Let this tragedy ignite not fear, but resolve. Let it awaken in all of us a renewed commitment to protect our communities, to speak out against hatred, and to work for a future where such tragedies are not headlines, but relics of a darker past. Tonight, the world mourns. Tomorrow, we rise.